Welcome to Breaking Chains and Building Dreams, the Wrong the Strong way. I am your host, JC, founder of Wrong the Strong. Born and raised in the south side of Chicago, my journey has been one of darkness. From gangs, drugs, addiction, mental health struggles, and prison. But through renewal, revival, and transformation, I've emerged as the person you see today. In today's episode, coming home after prison is never easy. It's a journey filled with challenges and temptations. Today, I'll be sharing my own experiences of re entering society, seeking employment, and ultimately getting pulled back into the drug trade. Returning to society after prison was hard. Despite my efforts to find employment and just kind of live a normal life, I couldn't shake off like my expectations of what I have learned in the streets, my past lifestyle. Going to work from 9 to 5 just didn't satisfy, I guess, my craving for excitement or fast money. Before I knew it, I found myself back into the trade, seeking the drill of easy profits and just pretty much high stakes of money. But my turning point came when I decided to fly to Mexico and settle the debt and get my hands on my first shipment. It was a risky move, but I had to reclaim my former lifestyle. It's when my life started to change. I had a couple of friends come in and help me, guiding me through a different drug trade because now it was cocaine, it was more money, and it was more dangerous. It wasn't marijuana, it wasn't Bobby Brown, it wasn't weed no more. Now it came with a price. Now it was blood. And I learned as I went through the ropes. But coming home and I guess you could say expecting to do what was right after being in prison in Mexico, federal prison here in the United States, and a couple of prisons in the state of Illinois. I really thought that I was coming home to be who I was supposed to be, a drug dealer, a gang member, a street thug. I had been bred for this. I had watched all the movies, I had been through it, and I had lived it. Not watched it on TV, lived it. But coming home, and that's one thing I have to say. I came home and the people that I was working for, Valerie's people, they took care of me. They took care of me, got me a truck, put some money in my pocket, and I wanted to do what was right. I looked for jobs everywhere, and I've never been picky about a job. I'll be the first one to go to work anywhere. I've worked in Walmart, I've worked in resorts, dishwasher, cook, construction, you name it, I've done it. When it comes to putting food on the table, I'm as humble as they come. That's the thing that used to get me at the halfway house. A lot of the guys didn't want to go to work because they weren't paying enough per hour. But, I figure I've always had the mentality you got to sacrifice a little bit to gain a lot later. So, I would always get to work until I had money to get back into my drug trade. So, they gave me some money. I can't remember specifically the amount, but it was more than 10 and a truck. So, I went and tried to sign up for CDL school, and I ended up paying like $4,000. Went to school for about 2 months and got my CDL. got my CDL, and I was a terror on the streets because I was not a good driver with that kind of truck and gears and all that stuff. So yeah, it didn't work out for me. It only stressed me out worse and made me more worried about what I was gonna do with the rest of my life. I had no purpose. I had no vision. I had no dream, no heart. I was just kind of living to live, and I remember just getting up and like going to the neighborhood and like thinking that that's all I had. That block, those friends. It wasn't long until I decided that working from 9 to 5 wasn't for me. It happened very, very fast where I made the transition into, back in the business. And it came easy because of a lot of the people that I had met in Mexico, especially, my best friend and people that I met along the way through the federal system when I came into the United States as a transfer. My contact book got bigger, like I've said it in the past. So like I was eager to get back in the game because now I had cut the middleman out. Now I was going directly to the families from Mexico. So now it was time for me to make some real money. So I guess you could say the big turning point came when I decided to fly to Mexico and settle the debt that I owed because I knew that settling that debt was gonna give me a connection, a meeting, a phone call. And when I flew into Mexico, it was also to prove a point. It was also to prove my loyalty to my friend, Ricardo. My word that I said I was gonna be back in pay. A lot of Americans have been through prison over there in Mexico and always said that they were gonna be back. And once they got home, they never heard from them again. Typical prison story. But with me, they were surprised because I flew back while I was still on paper. I took that risk. I was thirsty to become what I had grown up seeing, a drug dealer with big chain, cars, all that stuff, a gangster. And I wanted it. It's all I knew. What else was I supposed to do? Was I supposed to be a mailman? Because I had never seen one. Was I supposed to be a lawyer? Oh, you mean the guy that turned me over to the state? Or the white man that I look at as a cop? You get what I'm saying? Like, there's certain things that happen to us through our environment. There's certain things that happen to us because of other people. And then there's things that we do to ourselves because of our decisions and our lifestyles. You know, me flying to Mexico, paying that money, and receiving my first shipment really made me like think that I had found the answer to my career, my purpose, my walk, I guess you could say, because it was like happy life after that. I got a couple of tattoos on me that stood for something, and I had a group of guys working with me, and it was sweet to be making all that money and to be, you know, moving weight. I went and I got Scarface tattooed on me, and 180 and just but it all came crumbling down really fast. You know, a lot of my friends that I have grown up with started trying to rob me, trying to set me up. I'm not saying trying; they did it. Some robbed me, some set me up. Some were just planning behind my back. And you know, I don't blame nobody. I forgive everybody, man. You know, at the end of the day, I was a piece of crap too, so I don't blame them. I really don't. I was looking for it. I was out there, you know, I was part of it. So I don't blame nobody. You know, life got really hard for me after I started getting, you know, shipments sent into Chicago because I started working with some of the heavier people that were moving weight in Chicago, and I started making money, and people started getting jealous. I was living the dream, you know. I was getting married. I was opening up a restaurant. I was driving my Mercedes. I had really thought that I had made it, you know, and I was still young. I was in my, you know, mid 20s, 26, 27. Looking back, I realized the gravity of my decisions and the consequences that I've had on my life. Returning to the drug trade only brought me more troubles and hardships, way more complications, and it like my journey of redemption stopped. But yet, through it all, I've learned valuable lessons about resilience, accountability, and the importance of seeking help if you need it. You know, I share all this in hopes that someone that is going through something hears this message, because I really thought that I had no purpose. I really thought that I had just to wake up and go to work and pay the bills and never experience joy or happiness, and I was very, very wrong. You know, God is love, God is joy, God is, you know, living life to the fullest and loving those around you as you live it. You know, leading by example. It's not about perfection. It's about a relationship with God and letting Him mold you into what you should be for Him, not the world. Sometimes we're too busy sitting back, letting the world convince us that we need to be a certain way, or that we need to look a certain way, or that we need to be from a certain street. You know, the most important thing that I've learned through life is love. Love is way more powerful than hate. Love can change the world. So that's what I do today. I share my story, but I also share my love and what God is doing in my life and in my heart. Today was just a glimpse of how easy it was for me to go back into the drug trade after working a job for maybe a week or two. And I highlight that just because 82% of men and women that have been to prison end up going back in the first 6 months. Yes, it's alarming, it's bad. We are facing a crisis here in the United States of mass incarceration. We have over 2 million people incarcerated, men and women, fathers and mothers, grandmothers, grandfathers. As I continue my mission to support those individuals in prison, I am reminded of the importance of community and support. If you believe in our cause and want to make a difference, please consider donating to our GoFundMe. Your contributions will help fund our efforts to provide assistance, resources to those that need it. Thank you for your support. In conclusion, coming home after prison is a complex journey filled with highs and lows. It's a process of self discovery, growth, and ultimately redemption. I am grateful for the opportunity to share my story with you today, and I hope that it inspires you to reflect on your own journey. Thank you for listening. Until next time, stay strong, keep pushing forward, and remember, live for Him. My name is JC. I am Wrong to Strong.